Hi, it's me, Scott, and I definitely didn't just, this is definitely the first stream I've done today, and I definitely didn't mess up, and nope, everything's fine. Everything's all good. And I definitely didn't just talk about NFC or anything like that. We're definitely starting fresh. This is no question. Hi, it's me, Scott. Hope everybody is safe and well out there and looking out for each other and taking care of those around you as best you can. We're gonna look at some NFC stuff today because I don't know how it works and I wanna know how it works. So let's start with some new wallpaper. Sometimes I worry we're gonna like accidentally show something scandalous. Some scandalous Norwegian wallpaper. Like this. Speedo. Even having this NFC reader on my desk at all causes some crazy problems. A burb. That's nice. It's a little wintry, you know, it's a little Christmassy. What? It's, that's a beautiful cairn? Cairn? How do you say that word? Okay, so what do I want to know? So like, why am I saying like so much? We established a few weeks ago that we could use a QR code to look something up. So what I want to do is like NFC. I don't know exactly what this is called. How to write a euro for all on your NFC tag. Like, is there some standard? I just want to know what the standard is. I kind of wish I had an Android phone with me. I have a S6. Draclin, how's it going? Lurking away. Maybe we need to just look at. Actually, maybe this is all done for us. So here's the challenge, though. So there's the static way where we would just write to a sticker, right? Whatever. If this works the way I understand, we can just write a URL to a sticker. Is it this? Indef? This may be a short video if we figure it out really quickly. So like, yeah, this for example. So to add, so an in-def URI, that's what we want, I guess. NFC data exchange format. Yeah, this is really curious about this. So that's what we want, right? We want to just, so maybe we start with this. Let's just do something. Like if I do this, it's funny because when I hold my phone up to this NFC tag, it does freak out. It's like something's going on around here. I'm outraged. But let's just try that. So this is to, like, we're gonna write this to a card, correct? Oops. Do I have to save to do this? Is this Arduino plugged in? Is anything? Yeah, so we want to add or update. It seems like kind of the thing we want. So I have a card here, and I'm going to take it and put it on this NFC reader. Place your in-def formatted in tag. Well, I don't know if it's in-def formatted. And press the key to continue. Okay, so do I need to, there must be some other thing we need to do. Maybe one of those other friends was a in-def formatter? Format in-def, okay. We want this, and we want this, and we want this. Maybe. But like, I want the peer-to-peer thing, I think. Well, let's just see what's up. Okay. We'll change the authentication keys. Okay. I'll put this friend on here. Hit the button. Done. We done it. So now what happens? Like, how does this work? Can I just put my phone up to this and a magical thing will happen? Whoa, it did. Website NFC tag just came up on the splash screen. You can't see this. You'll never be able to see it. Website NFC tag, OpenScottMadeThis.net in Safari. And it opened my website. So that's pretty flippin' cool. So, okay, I need to put this, first of all, put the reader on a cardboard box so it stops making nightmare sounds in my ears. Okay, I'm actually really into that. So my iPhone 11 does that. I don't know that newer, I think Android phones have done that for a while. I think Apple phones have not done that for very long. And it's pretty good. Like, if I just hold it, I mean, yeah, I get it pretty dang quick. So that's pretty good. So, but I want to know about this peer-to-peer business. And I don't think there were any, because here's the thing, the reason I want this is I want a dynamic URL. And so basically I would want this thing to act like, I mean, I don't know if I can do that, you know. Used to exchange data between two active NFC devices in peer-to-peer mode. Okay. You could come up with a way to coordinate it. It just gets, it starts to worry me. Like, you could definitely come up with a way to say, like, okay, it always goes to the same URL, but that URL would have some knowledge of what was actually happening in the real world to know, like, okay, it would cross-reference with what was going on the installation or whatever to figure out what the URL should be and then redirect to it. But that's another step, and it's a step that things could go wrong. It feels like it would be better if you could just, even on this cardboard box, I'm hearing this sound. Okay. It would be better if you just knew it was the right URL. This is the page I was just on, right? Okay, passive communications. Active communication. To do, add a better description of active mode. But I need to test it out a bit first myself. Okay, well, that's not very helpful, is it? Tom, I go. Oh, luminary. Okay, so the NFC tag. Write peer-to-peer NFC messages between two Android devices. Well, I don't want to do that. I mean, it'd be lovely if I could just use this current hardware that I have. Peer-to-peer with the Seed Studio Shield. So what does Seed Studio know about it? So the thing I have is a key-in 532 peer. Why can't I spell the word peer? Software layers required for with Wi-Fi device are apparently much lower on Android. Okay. Oh, awesome. Peer-to-peer with Android 4, not iOS, though. How do I make this work? Does it work? Is there something that makes it easy? What? The PCB comes stuck. Excuse me? What are we peeling off here? Oh, this antenna? Interesting. This seems like a relatively limited. Because really what I want is like dynamic in-depth. Maybe. Maybe that's not what I want at all. Arduino's just straight up C++ with their own kind of, right? Isn't that true? It's just C++ kind of with their own convenience layers on top of it. Oh, in my sketch? Oh, this is, I mean, is that in here somewhere? Probably. That's probably fine. I mean, you know, it's a lot like Arduino and C++ is a lot like processing in Java, where it's like, oh yeah, it's really just Java, but there's a ton of convenience layers on top. That's really, Arduino is kind of the exact same principle. So I would assume, I guess it kind of, well, read only, whatever. It depends on the compiler, I guess. Did that make the compiler mad? The compiler did not like that. The compiler was not happy. I don't know what compiler they use or what variant of C++ it is, or if there's something very special about that. I don't know. But my understanding is that it is just C++. But I haven't written a thing in just straight up C++ in like 19 years. So this is kind of weird though, right? Oh, would it be this instead actually? This? Oops. Would that be the way to do it? No. It really wants a space here? You don't like it? You don't approve? Now that you point it out, it is kind of unusual. I guess I just hadn't really noticed. I didn't write this code. It just came with one of the example libraries. But now that you point that out, does seem kind of unusual, right? Does that have some different meaning in some way? Like, I don't... Yeah, people do this. So why didn't that work? What did I... That means a pointer to a URL, right? Like, is that... Or did I break something else? Forbids converting a string... Wait, but now everything's broken. What did I do? Oh, but it is seemingly compiling and uploading. It's just mad about it? Is that really true? That's just their example sketch? Wonder why. Yeah, it seems like just a warning, which is weird because it looks like an error, but I think it's just a warning. But the so presumably this is also okay because it's still just a pointer to our URL. Although this one actually wasn't. Is this not okay? Oh, it's also okay. So I guess C++ or this particular C++ compiler doesn't care where you put the pointer. You know, that's funny. I never really thought about that. I don't actually mind this. And I'll tell you why. Because I feel like any other keywords I would use to describe that URL would have a space. That's not all the way true. I was just thinking, like, if it's a const or static or whatever, it would also just be almost like it's a space delimited list of parameters that describe this thing. So the idea that this says, no, this is a pointer, I kind of don't mind it. Although that's not true at all if it was a array, right? Like that is, so maybe I don't like it. I don't know, Draclin. Now you've pointed this thing out to me that I can't unsee. Okay, how do we do this? So I now have a card that I can do this and go to my website. And that's cool, I think. It pops up a thing. I don't think that would work, right? I think this would be bad. Yeah, that won't compile. This might compile a character array if you can cast a character array to a string. Actually, this works and doesn't give a warning. So maybe this is actually the most... Is this the most correct thing to do? Although that's actually what this was just talking about. There isn't one. Yeah. I guess this is what I would think of as the thing to do. Should I go to Twitch? Should I have a special card that whenever you tap your phone on it, it takes you to Twitch? I mean, I like this knowledge that I have, that I can make a thing that you can go to a URL. That feels certainly more elegant to me than QR codes, but the URL is static, and I need dynamic URLs, I think. Because otherwise, how would it work? You'd have some fixed URL you went to, and then on the server side, it would have to try to figure out what was actually going on by cross-referencing with something in a database or something, which is not that cool. I kind of don't like that. It sounds more prone to error than just having the actual URL I want, which is something I could get with the QR code. Although the QR code, it's clumsy and it's goofy and you're messing with your camera and whatever. Okay, so let's see, what phones support INDEF? The vast majority. I guess I could try with my iPad. What if my iPad has NFC? Guess it does. Okay, previously NFC on the iPhone had several restrictions. Only support for reading in-depth formatted data. So that could actually be good, though. I mean, like, so maybe it's... This is also iOS 13. I am curious if the... Oh no, where did I put my important card? How do I know where to put it? Go. I choose you. Go. I don't know. Maybe do iPads not support this? Appears not. Because there may just not be any. I can enjoy it. Well, that sounds great. I like enjoying things. NFC in-depth reader. That sounds like a great application. I can't wait to download it. This feels like a realm. I mean, I don't know. Apple does some pretty cool stuff with this in terms of dealing with its own devices, but in terms of dealing with devices in the rest of the world, I guess there's pretty robust NFC stuff for paying for things, even though I don't actually, personally don't use that stuff very much. Okay, tap scan. Hold your phone near the tag to scan. And I get NFD record 0, URI, scottmadethis.net. So, let's see if that application works on this machine. I kind of expect that it won't. It would be sort of weird if it did, but who can say? I pushed the wrong button, everyone. Oh no, oh gosh, okay. NFC in-depth reader. View. This app requires specific features not available on this device. Interesting. I didn't actually know you could gate. I'm pretty sure it used to be the App Store you could only gate based on... you couldn't gate based on specific hardware. You could only gate based on iOS version. Okay, does this mean it doesn't... Are you iPhone only? That's a lot of iPhones. So iOS 11, but who knows if that's... Okay. Well, that's pretty weird though. Excuse me, please. Because the description of this, didn't that specifically say iPad? But when I go to it, it doesn't say iPad? Fishy. Okay, we've got to... DuckDuckGo's. We need more serious detective work. You have to go to Google for this. iOS does not have any native support for reading NFC tags. Android has always had basic, but that's not true anymore. Oh, you can have an accessory. Okay, well, I mean, it's not especially important, but... Okay, so let's just think through how this would work. You do something at a museum or elsewhere on some kind of interactive installation, and you want to take it with you. So QR code is definitely a way to do that. It's inelegant and kind of goofy for a lot of reasons, but it is a way to do it. Alternatively, you could do this thing where you have a static NFC tag and you've got to just tap your phone to it and you get a link somewhere, but that link is static. And so then it's the responsibility of the server to figure out where you're trying to go. And that's kind of a bummer. I'm not really into that. Like there's no... there's no awareness of when the person scans it or whatever. Like, when they hit, when they arrive at the website, but like what makes it complicated is you probably have some local tech like we tend to have, and that local tech probably communicates with the remote tech, but it's a separate, it's a separate stack, separate thing going on. But yeah, I could see that you scan it, you connect to the server, and then the server is like, what are you even doing? And it's like, oh yeah, this is you. This is your ID. So go for it. And hopefully by then the local device has like given some state that the server can look at. Versus the QR code way where you just embed whatever you want in it. Also, it's unclear how thorough the iPhone support is. And even if you have, like, for example, with that Seed Studio one, maybe it's outdated, but the Seed Studio compatibility list implied that it's even a subset of Android phones that would support it. Or maybe those are just phones they tested with, or I don't know. How to launch apps via proximity APIs. This is actually... That's interesting. Okay, in-depth launch app. This is a totally unrelated. Because I think that's something that Android phones can do that is actually super cool, is you can just set up an NFC tag to give some state to your phone and like change a bunch of stuff. Maybe iOS 13 can do some of that now. Wait. What? That's kind of scary. Oh man, what if I tap my new driver's license? Oh no. I got my new fancy, whatever, the new... I woke my phone up, seemingly, but nothing happened. Okay. Just curious. For NFC. I'm just scared. This is scary. You're scaring me. NFC stickers and tags, I can trigger Apple Pay payments, but how do you... It would have to be like a fixed thing, right? Oh yeah, like a fixed amount for... Vast tags. Oh man, Dairy Queen's in on it. Does that mean you could launch actions based on tags? Oh, yeah. Okay, so you have to like... You have to scan it and then click it. So it's not maybe quite as seamless as it can be on Android, but it still seems kind of cool. Kind of into this because if you could do, just imagine like, oh man, it's almost cool. It's pretty cool, but I feel like it could almost be a little cooler if it was just like, oh, I come home, or like it's time to sit at my desk and I could just put my phone down in a certain place and then have it like whatever set up everything for streaming, set up the lights and everything for streaming. And of course I could do that with buttons and stuff, but like kind of like the idea of just put my phone in a place, and when my phone is in that place, the environment is able to understand. So this can do that, but you'd have at least one tap. You'd have to tap, which makes a lot of sense, so that you couldn't do crimes. Oh man, okay, so it's just making me think. I used to have these ideas for projects that were like these multiple phone projects. So everybody, it would be an art gallery, everybody would come in, and then you had to surrender your phone when you got there, and then your phone would become part of the art installation. But one of the big hassles about that was like configuring the phones properly and doing what they need to do and on and on and on. But if you did it some way like this, where you could just set the phone there in whatever, it would have its own tag in that space. Then that could be kind of cool. I think it could be kind of cool. Okay, so what do we do with this information? It seems like the thing I actually super want to work doesn't work. And that's annoying. I could think of ways to make the other way work. The way where you scan it and it's a static URL, but it's just the server has enough context to know who you are and what you're doing. I could kind of imagine that, but it's a little more complicated. So what did we actually do? We did a glitch sketch about this at some point, right? About the RFID stuff. So you turn on your phone. And I submit initial value, and then I can look at this, and then I can go to the website it sends me to, and it shows me the thing. And this was the whole deal, right? This was the whole, we stored data in a database. We recovered that data based on a identifier that came from the QR code. So there definitely was, there's like definitely info. trying to decide how much that matters. Because it could be that you... no, it's kind of a problem. Like that URL... It's just too easy to be able to look at somebody else's thing, for for better or worse. Like, if I know the URL that just always shows whatever the latest info is, it's probably not that much of a security concern, but I still don't like it. Where it's like, oh, I have a URL that just shows me whatever the newest data is. And if I go to that URL, I know the newest info, and that doesn't feel very good. Versus this, where the URL has... There's a URL in here that has some secure presence. Like it's a little more secure. I'm going to take a short break and get a drink of water, and I will be back in just a moment, and then we'll figure out something to do. Okay, bye. Okay, let's look a little more and see if we can find anything else pertinent about Arduino, peer-to-peer, and death. What does Dawn have to say about this? Dawn Coleman. On BlackBerry 10. Yeah, it just doesn't feel like a... Oh, one of the authors. I see. This is also years old at this point. Whoa, Siri keeps thinking I'm not talking to you, Siri. I don't know who you think you are. Okay. So that feels like maybe barking up the wrong tree. The only really way to do it I can see is the server side thing, which I don't actually like. So that's something to think about. So what have we been doing? 45 minutes. What else do we want to do today? What could we possibly want to do today? I kind of want to make a project that's just focused on these tags that you can read. I also want to take a nap, so who can say what the right answer is? PM. I'm a little curious here. Let's just take a gander. Go to Instructables. Look for this board. An access control system. I've seen these little things before. Are they just solenoids inside? Neil used one of these for a recent project, I think. Oh, sorry, it's a linear actuator. Yes, of course, a linear actuator. Which I think you have more control over, right? Like a solenoid's just like in, out, but a linear actuator, you can control that true or false. I've never actually used a linear actuator. They seem good to do, like if you need to make a robot that's going to do push-ups all day. But it looks like we're like somehow converting rotational motion into linear motion, right? The whole thing. Some of these are real expensive. Some of them are not too bad. I wonder how accurate they are and how much control you have. Some of these are so costly. But I want that one. I want this one. I want the one with the little gasket. Time your employees. Nah. Oh, what? Suddenly that linear actuator's not good enough? But I want that one. I want the little one. I like its attitude. I like its... This? Yeah, like $7. That sounds right. Two of them for $10. Oh yeah, for car locks, right? That's what these are for, these particular ones, and they're crazy for deals. And 4 of them for that's not bad. I mean, it can't be too bad, right? Like if people use them to get in and out of their cars. Does this person lock their puppy in jail?
Okay, Google, turn on Release the Hounds.
Sure, turning the Release the Hounds on.
Release the Hounds? Very good. Huh? Huh? It seems pretty strong. But not like it has much travel, right? How much travel do we get? These seem kind of fun. Well, maybe because they're so specific for that instance, they don't talk about the amount of travel. But it can't be much, right? Like an inch? Okay, Google, turn on release the hounds. Interesting, very interesting. Oh no, you can see all the embarrassing things in my shopping cart, like some breakaway headers. I don't actually need these NFC tags anymore. Okay, well, I feel like the thing I wanted to do isn't gonna work. So what do we do instead? What do we do instead? I don't know the answer. You know what I kind of want to look at, actually? So a few weeks ago, we tried to look at Electron, and then I dismissed it, thinking that I wasn't that into it. But the more I've worked on some of the projects I'm working on, the more I feel like it actually would be pretty convenient to just send someone an Electron app. That's nice of them. Good job, Electron. Send someone an Electron app rather than having, to download Node and set all of that up. I don't know if I think that's a great idea, but I could see it. I'm actually kind of having a hard time reading this all monochrome. I appreciate what they're doing, but kind of the light gray text on white is a little difficult for me to read. I'm not complaining. I do appreciate what they're doing. So what did we not like? A good editor. I feel like the part that was annoying was this, right? Like the distribution part is what seemed actually not great. Or seemed a little bit annoying. You can use tools. Packaging, rebranding. Okay. Why? Which one's the best one? The first one? The first one's the best, she said. Morning. What does MTX mean? What? Huh. Okay. I see. So because here's what I would kind of like to make is a like a generic kind of Electron wrapper for all of these projects I'm doing that I have the node-based Arduino bridge. And if I could just have a really easy way to wrap that, it would be handy. Very handy. So this is how you get started, but how do you actually do it? The basics. This is all I have to do? Really? That does sound easy. Doesn't seem like exactly the basics though, because I have to install it first, right? Right? There's like one more step before this, which is install Electron, or install Electron Forge. That's what we need. Okay, well, let's just play around with this a little bit, just for a short while, because I'm kind of curious about it. You know? So, I messed up. Don't open Steam. Anybody? Desktop. So, npm install global. Wait. Is that different? I'm really confused. Like, is this really all I have to do? Will this actually really work? Like, I can do that without previously installing anything? In NPX, is that magical? I guess it is. It's magical. I didn't realize. How about that? Because the thing that I want, though, is the ability still to use and run it not as an Electron app. And that's where this gets a little weird. So I would basically have whatever my thing is be a node module that got included into this wrapper project. Is that a thing that makes sense? Maybe. That's what would be most convenient for me, I think. I think I'm still kind of missing in that scenario is the logging, like how I want to easily do the logging from whatever the node backend is. It was a weird stream today. I know. I know. It's Friday. It's a rough week for everybody. Just trying to move forward. Just trying to keep moving forward. A lot of NPM dependencies being installed, apparently. Or it's broken. Could be. It could be broken. We're gonna do this all day? Install NPM dependencies? Maybe? Huh. Is this for real? Are things actually happening in that directory? There's stuff in there. That felt excessive. It felt like a lot. Felt like a lot. Okay. Electron wrapper. NPM start. So we should have a thing, right? Should have a... Oh, no. libx cursor. Oh, right. Oh, man. How did we get around this last time? We're in Windows Subsystem for Linux. So it is probably... That's pretty lame. Can we get around this? Nope, not that. Don't delete that. Okay, well, let's just do that whole install thing again. How does that sound? That's annoying, but also not surprising. I should have seen it coming a mile away. A lot of dependencies, though. Too many, one might argue. What? Excuse me? Did it not actually delete it when I said to delete it? $12,000 files to delete? Cool. Okay. Now, get them. Go get them. Man. I don't know what to do about this. This is really annoying. Does the source tree... What's its face? Terminal at work? We'll just keep going. We'll just keep trying different things. No, but this is Bash. This isn't going to work. Or will it? Because it's not really Windows Subsystem for Linux. It's just Windows Bash. Okay, maybe we try this one more time, and then maybe we just call it a day. Today was an exploratory stream, and the explorations did not yield satisfactory results. That happens sometimes. It's okay. One might argue I shouldn't do these exploratory streams on stream. I should do the researchy kinds of things to figure out if things are going to work off stream. But to those people, I would say, you're right. You're probably right. I don't disagree. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop. But it means that you're probably not incorrect. This is weird. So we've tried actual Windows Subsystem for Linux, and we tried like just straight up Windows command, and now we're doing this weird. I've never known how to say this. Ming Win32, Min GW32. I don't know. maybe this one will work because it exists in some neither realm between Windows and Unix, kind of. Like it's some nightmare limbo. It's weird, I know. Okay, so. But I kind of feel like it's not going to work and it's going to be the same problem where it wants to be X11. It did work. Hot dog. Okay, that's really not ideal. So I applaud Microsoft for some of the directions in which they've been moving. I think Windows Subsystem for Linux is a pretty ambitious and undertaking, and I think it's pretty smart in a lot of ways. But it's still pretty annoying. Like there's still a few too many, I don't know, too many ways to do things or ways that aren't very integrated. Like Windows Subsystem for Linux 2 is supposed to be better integrated in a lot of ways, but I don't think it would solve this problem. It actually might though, because I think Windows Subsystem for Linux 2 does support X11 in some way. Okay, so if we wanted to open a folder, and that folder was called Electron Wrapper, and inside the Electron Wrapper we found files, the files we would expect. Gets a little weird though, because then like I just don't actually know how to do that thing that I'm describing, is have something that works both standalone but also works as a node module. Yeah, no? Maybe you just throw a module that exports at the bottom of something and it miraculously works. I don't even know what I'm searching for, really. Like, I want a node module that, like, it can be run directly, but also can be... Maybe that's normal. Maybe that happens all the time, right? Maybe, like... I don't even know what I'm looking for in here. These package.json files that people actually fill out correctly. Never done it. I've never done it before. I don't really think I'm gonna find what I'm looking for in here. Chromium pickle. But does, I mean, it's the thing I'm describing. I feel like the thing I'm describing conceptually makes sense, where it's like, oh, it's a node module that you could just straight up run, but also could be included. How do I search for that? I don't know. I mean, maybe it's also very possible that it's just not hard, and I'm just making it hard. Oh, well, I guess I kind of have an idea on how to do it. So you would have, you would kind of write your application as a module where the logic was in some module. And you'd have it where you could just run that, and then its index file would really just create that thing, whatever that thing was. But then you could also, so you could include it that way. Ugh, does that even make sense? I wish I knew like how to phrase the thing I want to do, because it seems like it can't be that crazy. Like I want to use the electron to wrap up. I just don't quite know conceptually. Conceptually, I know what I want. I don't know how to verbalize it. I don't know how to type it. Standalone module. Create standalone modules. Is this a thing that people do or care about? I mean, is this saying what I want? We got a little more info, buddy. We got some cool sunglasses at least, but what, 0 weekly download? I don't know. I don't know. An executable module. Oh, this is old. Okay, well, what does Jade do? Wait, we clicked Jade, but we got to Pug? How did this happen? Because normally it would be what? The scripts. Yeah, like main. I feel like that's the question I wanted, but I need that question a bit more recent than 9 years ago. An executable module? No. Although, I mean, is this actually what I want to need though? Because maybe this is better. Maybe this is more like what I want. And I don't need Electron. And I can just... Maybe this is better. Yeah, this is my whole point. Okay. Is this good? Is this great? Do people use this? It's not a ton of commits, but looks actively developed. I mean, that's quite a few commits, I guess, depending on the complexity of the project. But okay, example. Yes. Okay, I'm into this, but how does it work? I mean, wow, Link is one of the contributors. Okay, so this is kind of promising. It's a little annoying that it's like a Windows executable though, right? Is that true? Is it only a Windows executable? No, you can do multiple targets. Okay, maybe this is it. Maybe this is the thing I've wanted all along, my whole life. I accidentally stumbled across it. But how... Still a little confused, frankly. Do I have to install it as a dev tool and then use it? Like... You're just assuming some knowledge here that I don't know that I fully have. It's very easy to use, much more than Nexi. Okay. So this used to belong to Zeit. Does Zeit still exist? Within containers, not intended for use in serverless environments. Single command binary compiler. Let's just try it. Because that would be great. That would be just terrific, right? Like, what's a good thing we could try it on? The heat client, maybe? Electron wrapper, get out of here. Never liked you anyway. You're too much trouble. I can't even delete you. That's how much trouble you are. Yeah, so the heat client. Let's try it on that. I believe it's pretty dang simple, right? Oh, speaking of heat, does heat work? Yes, it does, miraculously. $7. Anybody watching who's never been around here before? You can click the screen and things will happen. Okay. But I moved it earlier this week and was afraid that I broke it. But it seems to be working. That's good. So, oh yeah, but this client is weird because this is like, I'm not in this place anymore. So this wouldn't actually work super well anyway. Oh well. We just want an example, so it doesn't matter that much. It's a lot of vulnerabilities. It's a whole lot of vulnerabilities. Okay, so if I click this, do I get things? Okay, yes. So we get information here. So if we did this, package. It's a pretty good name. Does a lot of platforms. Okay, this feels good. This feels all right, because then I can have like binary releases of node things, provided this actually works. Oh, that's kind of cool. So it's going to make multi-platform targets for me. If this works, I'm going to be pretty into this. This could be a pretty big time saver for me. Oh no, it also means I can write weird things in Node and then ask you to download them and run them without having to install Node. Man, that's actually really handy, because you could even write, oh man, where's Life is Yours? Because you could write, like when Life is Yours first did his tank game for Heat, he had like a standalone server bridge that you had to run and you had to have Node installed. So this at a minimum means you could at least package an executable and run the executable. That'd still be a terrible way to do things, but at least you wouldn't have to require people to install Node. Okay, that was maybe not as fast as I would have hoped, but how did we do? All right, we have a Windows executable here, 75 megabytes. And it does, what a crazy thing to think about. 75 megabytes for an application this simple. One of my first hard drives that I remember having was 40 megabytes. So cool. Okay, but that works. So that's pretty dang cool. Okay, yeah, that's great, actually. I like that. So I could add like a build. Path to the entry file. Cool. Oh, that's good. So it even does like, yeah, that's interesting, because normally you would think this would affect the argument layout, because this would be like arg0, 1, 2, 3. I'm not actually sure if that's true with Node. Maybe that's not true. Maybe Node still indexes from here. Maybe actually, so maybe it is equivalent normally. Okay, well, this seems okay. And it seems like humans still work on it to some extent. Yeah, it looks relatively active. Okay, so other than the fact that the binaries are absurd, probably because it's just Node. How big is it if we compress it? We'll make a 7Z and a zip. Just to test it all out. Yeah. Still kind of big, but not bad. Okay, so that's the thing. I think that's what we're gonna do. Because then then it's all fine. You just run the thing, and you got a thing. The Linux binaries are interesting too. Even though I just deleted them. And the macOS binaries. Kind of curious if that works smoothly everywhere. Like, that's kind of amazing actually, if that really works. Just cross-compiling like that was pretty painless. Okay, I think that's it for today. I know that was a weird stream, but I clicked the wrong button. They're all kind of weird to some extent, right? Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out, Draclin. Draclin, I'm excited about this thing. It's kind of handy. I didn't accomplish the thing I really wanted to accomplish, but I accomplished a different thing, and that's okay. Okay, I will see you all maybe later today. We'll do another Animal Crossing stream, and then I think it's almost time to find a new video game to play. That's what I think. Okay, stay safe out there, please. Be kind to everybody, please. Goodbye.